Yo, what's going on, beautiful people? I just wanted to hop on and give you guys a quick market breakdown. We weren't able to have our group call last night. Trying to find out what the exact timings are going to be best for us, considering the time difference, because I am 7 hours ahead of most of you, which, market open is 5 a.m. for me, so I can't be doing that anymore. So we got to work it out. Either we're going to do the streams before London session, or in the morning for me, which will be late at night for you guys. We're gonna have to make a poll or something in the Discord and work it out. But in terms of what I see for today and getting into the week, so you guys can have the levels, let's just do a little quick analysis. Okay, so if we remove everything from the chart on gold, let me remove my alerts as well. Boom, 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 delete all inactive alerts. There we go, brand new chart. Come on, no, not delete all inactive. I want all of them out. Bear with me. Okay. Boom. Okay, beautiful chart. Right, so if we start on the monthly, do we have anything where price potentially wants to go to? Okay, the closest thing that I see to price right now on the monthly time frame is this high right here. Okay, so we can mark this puppy out. If we are also to mark the Fibonacci from this high all the way down to this low, do we have anything that is very close to price? Yes, we do. We have the 0.5%, which is right here. Okay, so that is pretty close to price. So the chances that we are going to go there is pretty likely, right? So let's mark this level out right here. Okay, and then we have the Fibonacci golden pocket up here as well. Lovely. On the weekly time frame, what do we see? We see that we have already taken out previous week's high. So what does that mean? It means that we're not expecting gold to come down this week, right, and take the previous week's low. Okay, unless it's just, weird price action and unless we get some crazy news. Okay, but typically price will either continue pushing up this week on gold, right, and we can take out these higher targets, or we will come back down, retrace to then come up higher. Okay, so we know that we are not looking for shorts down to this weekly fair value gap yet. Okay, that potentially might come once we come up to these areas, and then we can get a massive sell-off from here. Okay, so that just basically simplifies our options for gold massively. Okay, we know that we have these targets up here that price is yet to take. Okay, so if we know that we start retracing, then we know that I'm going to be bullish up until these levels get hit, 4677 and then 4770. Right? If we scale down to the daily time frame, do we see anything interesting? As of right now, nothing really is too interesting. We have this little daily fair value gap up here, which we can mark out, giving us even more of a reason for price to do what? Want to come up, right? Tomorrow also, once the daily candle closes, we're going to leave a daily fair value gap, right? So potentially, guys, this might be the first retrace of gold into a fair value gap to then push up higher. You can see that we haven't really been retracing into FVGs. We left one here, we didn't tap into it. We left one here, we actually did barely tap into it and we pushed off. We left one here, we didn't tap into it, and now we're about to leave a third one. So usually, whenever a couple of fair value gaps don't get tapped into, at some point we will get a fill, right? And this would be the perfect launch pad for us to make us take out these higher prices. For now, today, in terms of targets for today, I would say the short-term targets are going to be this daily fair value gap and potentially this monthly equilibrium level up here. So these would be the targets for today. So I will be bullish until these targets get hit. We could potentially get a reaction from these zones as well for us to continue lower. That is a possibility. Okay, so but we're going to keep an eye out and we're going to be bullish until 4665 gets hit or 4678. Okay, in terms of looking for entries taking us up here, right? Let's go on the 4-hour time frame. Do we have any fair value gaps that could potentially take us up there? For now, we don't even have this daily fair value gap, so we can cancel that. We have this 4-hour down here, right? But that's already way too far from price. Let's just be realistic about this. If our target is here, right? Do we expect price to come all the way down here to then come up? Maybe, but it's unlikely, right? Usually price will maybe chill around here and then pump up and potentially get the sell-off from here down to this 4 hour. Okay, that is more of the likely scenario. So we need to scale down into the lower time frames so that we can, find our areas of price where price is potentially going to react from. On the 4 hour right now, the only interesting thing is that we have this OB right here. We have this 4 hour order block. It's not confirmed yet. Why is it not confirmed yet? Because this 4 hour candlestick hasn't closed yet, and we need to do what? Close above the high. Okay, what is the break of an order block? An order block is the candle in the opposite direction before the move up that breaks structure. So we are yet to break structure, but once we do, this is going to confirm this 4 hour order block. So we can use this as a confluence. If we scale down into the hourly time frame, what can we do? We have a clear low right here, and we have a clear high up here. So what can we do? We can draw our good old Fibonacci extension tool, right from the low all the way up to the high. We can see that the 0.5 is lining up inside of this 4 hour OB. So this would be an interesting area for us to potentially look for longs taking us up to this daily fair value gap. Okay, do we have any fair value gaps on the hourly? We don't, right? So let's scale down into lower time frames. Do we see any fair value gaps on the 30-minute time frame? We don't. Do we see any fair value gaps on the 15? We do. We do, and we have already tapped into it. Right, we've tapped into it here, barely, right? So let's see if we can find even another fair value gap. We do. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Look how beautiful this is. We have a 5-minute FVG inside of a 4 hour order block, inside of the equilibrium level, right, with this low resting below. So this area to me looks great. This looks great. Okay, we also have this low right here, which could be used as liquidity. So potentially price is going to want to do something like this, right? We come down, sweep this low, tap into this 5-minute fair value gap. We get a reaction. Here we will be looking for a break of structure on the 5-minute time frame, right? Potentially also some inverses. So hopefully we're going to have made a bearish fair value gap on the way down. We want to see price close above it, confirming that we are wanting to continue to the upside. And that is going to be where our entry is going to be, right? We're going to enter here. Stop loss is going to be below the low, and we're going to target this daily fair value gap. Okay, that is something that I'm very interested in potentially taking. So let's now mark this out as our buy zone, right? Boom, boom, boom. There we go. Buy zone number 1. Tac. Boom. Right here. Let's delete this shit. Boom. Boom. There we go. Back. Tac. There we go. Buy zone numero uno, which honestly, this level here is my favorite, right? Because we have the most confluences lining up at this level. Okay. So let's just set an alert as well so that we will be, present once price gets to our level. We're not going to potentially miss this out. If price decides to come up though without tapping into this zone, we know that we might actually get shorts, right? Targeting this from these key zones up here. This could also act as a sell zone at 4665, 4678. So we will be paying attention to that. So let me set an alert as well. What if we want to come lower? Do we have anything lower that is interesting for us? Not really, to be honest. We shouldn't really come below this low, to be honest with you. Why not? Because this low is critical. Because if we end up breaking below this low, then price is officially changing market structure because we are maintaining higher highs and higher lows right now. So technically we should make a higher low to then make a higher high. The moment that we come down and close below this low or starts dumping, then we know potentially price is going to want to change market structure, make a lower high to then make a lower low, okay, which will also make a M formation, right, which is also a bearish pattern, okay, which is also a reversal pattern, which would potentially take us down to this 4 hour fair value gap, to this low down here. Okay, but for now that is just speculation. We are expecting price to hold anywhere within this area, right? If we come down here and we sweep this low really quick, okay, that is still valid. Okay, that will still be valid and we could still be looking for buys. The only times when it's not going to be valid is if we come down, we close, candlesticks and show us that price potentially wants to move lower. Okay, because we do have liquidity to the downside as well. right? So let's mark this out as our last potential buy zone in case we want to do a bigger dump and we come and sweep this low, right? But it has to be a sweep. If it's not a quick move up and down, then we will not be interested in looking for our buys anymore. Okay, so that's super important. So let's mark this out as our buy zone right here. Beautiful. Okay, guys, I would say on gold we are pretty sorted, right? We have our target up here, higher time frame target. You always want to have a higher time frame target when you're looking for trades so that we have something to target for the day, which is currently this daily fair value gap and this monthly equilibrium level. Okay, we have our buy zones as well that we want to potentially be looking to enter a trade to take us up to our high time frame target. And if we come up first, then we will be potentially looking for sells. Okay, so that's my view on gold. In terms of the levels, here we go. Target 4665, 4678. Okay, so mark these out on your charts. I will also be putting this in the Discord. And in terms of our buy zones, we have 603, 608, 618, 626. Okay, so that is what I see on gold as of right now. If for some reason none of these zones hold and we do something, that we weren't able to predict, then we will obviously adapt and, we will find the best way for what is in front of us, right? We don't chase price. We only react to whatever the market gives us. Okay, we completely are detaching from that, right? We are trying to just be and doing things properly from the beginning. Okay. In terms of NQ, let's have a look at what NQ wants to say and wants to give us. Let's remove absolutely everything as well. Okay, on the monthly time frame, do we have anything? So the previous monthly high and the previous monthly low, we have not taken yet this month. We still have 7 days, 8 days out of the month left. So is price going to want to dump to either the previous monthly high or the previous monthly low in this short amount of time? I don't know. We're going to have to see. There's going to have to be some serious volume being inserted in order for price to want to do that, right? But let's just mark these out just in case. On the weekly time frame, what is the weekly doing? We have the previous weekly low right here, which price looks like we are currently getting attracted to it, right? This is the closest thing to price right now on the higher time frame. Do we care about the high? No, because the low is right here. And where is the low also sitting? Inside of this weekly fair value gap. Okay, so that's interesting. Let's pull in our Fibonacci as well from the low all the way up to the high. Where is equilibrium? Damn, equilibrium is all the way down here. Interesting. Okay, let's now scale down to the daily time frame. What do we see on the daily? Okay, on the daily time frame, there is a lot of information here, right? So we can see that we have a daily fair value gap right here lining up with this weekly equilibrium level. Okay, so this potentially could be a very high confluence zone. Okay, we also have this bearish daily fair value gap up here. Okay, so this potentially could be interesting for us, right? We could be getting something like this. Price comes down, sweeps the weekly low, right? We then get a reaction from this level and we could potentially get a retrace into this daily gap to then come down lower. Okay, why do we expect price to come down lower? Because we have the equilibrium level right here for this range. So in order for price to want to move higher, we need to at least retrace into the 50% because this is where the big banks and the big institutions are interested in entering their positions, right? These big players, they don't want to enter price up here. They want to enter price at the best price possible, right? At a discounted price zone. So when we're looking for buys, that is typically below the 50%. So anywhere below this line here is a very good area to be looking for some potential buys targeting up here, okay? Let's now scale down to the 4 hour. The 4 hour. What can we see? The 4 hour, let's potentially mark some more fib levels, right? Because we have some more, structure. We also have this 4 hour fair value gap right here. So potentially, if we don't get any reactions from any of these buy zones that we're going to set here, this could be our target for Nasdaq, right? If we start seeing price, really selling off hard then potentially we're going to be like, okay, we want to come down to this 4 hour, which also lines up with this 786 fib level. Okay, let's now pull our fib from this low to this high, right, to see if there's any other things going to be lining up. And look at this, we do have the golden pocket, right, chilling here, but it's not quite lining up with the weekly low yet. So that's not great, but potentially we might see something else lining up with this fib level. So let's keep it up while as we scale down to lower time frames. What else do we see? We see that the 786, right, is also lining up with this 0.5. So this area already here is a good zone for us, right? We have a daily fair value gap, we have the 786, we have the 0.5, we have also a 4 hour OB. So this area for me is very juicy. Okay, so if price decides to come down here, this could be a very good zone to potentially be looking for some buys. Okay, let's now mark this out. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, I want to be looking for some buy zones or some other confluences lining up with this previous weekly low. So let's scale down now into the lower time frames and let's see, can we find anything that is lining up with this weekly low? Let's scale down. Look at this. Ooh, interesting stuff. Okay, so we have this hourly fair value gap right here. And this hourly FVG is lining up pretty much under this previous weekly low. So if we were to potentially do something like this, right, we dump hard, right, trick people that we're actually going to come down and people are going to be entering sells. But what does price do? This is just a liquidity sweep. We're going to quickly recover, right? We're going to inverse the fair value gaps that we have to the left of price and potentially reverse and come and take this daily FVG, right? Also retracing into equilibrium, right, of this whole move that we have made, which we have yet to have a retrace for. And what do you see, guys? Look at this. The 0.5 is lining up perfectly with this daily FVG. So this honestly is my favorite scenario as of right now on Nasdaq. Right? It is going to be the scenario where we come down here, we dump, right? Sweep the previous weekly low, tap into this hourly fair value gap, and then get longs targeting this daily up here. Okay, so let's mark this out as our buy zone right here. Boom. The buy zones. Je buy zones. Boom. And then one more for the price levels right here. There we go. Awesome. So that's the current plan. And if we don't get a reaction from this buy zone right here, right, and we actually do close below, then we are potentially going to be looking for shorts down to this equilibrium level, which I am expecting to get taken, guys. So if we do take longs from here, this is just longs to then look for shorts, in my personal opinion. Unless we obviously come up, we close above here, we are around here and it's closer for price to take this high than to come down, right? In that case, we're going to adapt. But I believe that this is just a retrace to then come down lower. Okay, but we will see what price is going to give us, right? And see how this week goes. But yeah, that's the quick breakdown of what I see on gold and Nasdaq. I hope this was helpful for you guys. I hope you were able to start seeing a little bit how I analyze the charts and start applying these methods for yourself in your own trading. The group calls are definitely going to start back up again. Let me know if you guys like this style of video as well, so you can watch it as many times as you want and understand, why I mark these levels, what I see in the market, etc. These are all live, no edits. So if I mess up, I apologize. But this one did go pretty smoothly. So these are the two zones right here. Boom. And then, once we start seeing price come up to these areas, then potentially we're going to be looking for sells, right? For sell zones. But there is no point in marking sell zones as of right now. Okay, the only ones that are interesting right now are buy zones, right? Because we might be having this area as a target, right? Target, okay? Or this area is going to be also a target down here, right? Depending on what price does. Right, but I feel like Nasdaq is coming to a very key level, right, which is the previous weekly low, which has the hourly fair value gap below, right? After a big dump like this, a retrace is, you know, inevitable at some point, right? So this would be my favorite scenario as of right now, and you know, we will capitalize on this move if we start seeing something. With that being said, I hope you guys have a beautiful day, and I will see you on the charts on London session and New York session. Lots of love, guys, and yeah, peace, 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 peace.